comes to the Dallas Cowboys down year they experienced in 2020, so did Ezekiel Elliott experience a down year of his own in terms of overall declining efficiency as a running back. He saw declining numbers in rushing yards per attempt, touchdowns, you name it. So in this video, we're going to have to open up a discussion on the future of Ezekiel Elliott and what might the Cowboys have to do going forward regarding Ezekiel Elliott. With that being said, if you guys could, by all means, leave a like on this video. It doesn't take too long to do and helps the channel out a lot in the algorithm. Also, by all means, subscribe if you haven't done so already. About 95% of you guys watching are not subscribed, so I recommend you do so. And finally, hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already, because by doing that, you'll be notified when new content drops in your sub box so you don't miss out on it. Now, before I go any further into the video, I need to have a side note / disclaimer. As of this recording, on February 18th of 2021, I do not want the Dallas Cowboys to release or trade Ezekiel Elliott yet. And I'll get into those reasons fully in detail momentarily, but again, as of this recording, when it gets published, I do not want Ezekiel Elliott to get cut or traded by the Dallas Cowboys in 2021. Okay? And the reason I believe that and hold that position is because the Dallas Cowboys would not save really much anything in 2021 if they were to cut him either pre or post June 1st or trade him pre-June 1st or post-June 1st. If the Cowboys were to cut him before June 1st, they would lose $10 million, in salary cap space. And you would have a ton of dead cap, more importantly. When it comes to trading him, you would also be losing money and have a huge dead cap hit of $14 million. If you were to release him post-June 1st in 2021, you would just get a whole bunch of dead cap and won't save any money. And most importantly, it wouldn't be a good idea. You wouldn't be saving any money, regardless if you get something back from it. It would just be a really stupid transaction to do. However, if you look at 2022, if things really go bad, you can definitely cut him when 2022 rolls around. Because then you would still have a dead cap hit, but it wouldn't be as bad as if you were to release him straight up in 2021 or trade him in 2021. However, in 2023 is where you can possibly see a release or trade by the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys would then be in the positive when it comes to releasing him, as well as being able to trade him and not have to worry about a massive cap hit. But the way I look at it, when I look at his statistics, I do still stand by, and the facts prove it, that, hey, he did have a down year. He went from averaging 4.5 yards a carry in 2019 to 4 in 2020. He had 979 rushing yards. He was down almost 400 yards, 300 yards from last year. He also cut in half his production when it came to touchdowns. Now, I understand that there were moments where Zeke could definitely have gotten more scores. You know, okay, he's on the 1 yard line and Dak sneaked it in, this, that, and a third. But still, it's still an issue. When it came to receiving yards, Ezekiel Elliott saw a dip there. And, honestly, he just, like I mentioned, had an overall down year in terms of efficiency and just being a guy that I'm paying $14-15 million to do. Now, we can attribute this to the offensive line. We can attribute this to Zeke. I mean, Zeke fumbled a lot in 2020, and especially in key situations where we didn't need him to. So that was another problem we had to experience with him. Now, I'm all about second chances, and honestly, the way I look at it, as Dak's numbers have increased and his, efficiency in terms of being a passer has gone up, and just his overall numbers, Zeke's numbers have declined. So at this point, we're sitting at a crossroads where, okay, people that thought, oh, Zeke is the guy that runs the offense, that's not true anymore. Zeke is a complementary piece to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is now the captain of the ship when it comes to offensive production. And then again, Dak was doing fine himself. I do think that Zeke is still a talented running back that still is capable of putting up solid numbers. I mean, in fact, he almost had 1,000 yards this year, even though he played in 15 games and only started 14 of them. Okay? And that was dealing with a calf injury. I do look at the situation, though, where, he had 6 fumbles. He doubled that, Sure, he had 6 fumbles in 2018 and 5 in 2016, so it's like, well, he's always had some. The problem is that it's still something to be concerned about. Zeke would fumble the ball, or there would just be moments where he just didn't look like what we were used to seeing. I feel like Zeke still has the talent to be a solid and good running back. In fact, a great running back. I still think he's a generational talent at the running back position, but as we get further and further along into the development of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott consistently getting a whole bunch of touches, it starts to become an issue to where, what's going to happen? You're going to pay this guy a lot of money, and he's not going to be worth it at some point. He had the least amount of rushing yards in his career. Now, granted, in 2017, he almost had 1,000 yards on 10 games, which is ludicrous. But the way I look at it, as I just look at the overall numbers on my screen, Zeke is definitely going to need some help. Yes, I do agree the offensive line needs to get better. But Zeke also needs to stop fumbling the ball. Zeke needs to be able to take advantage of the opportunity that's given. There are moments where I've been, like, what the hell's going on? Like, where's this? There will be moments, too, of good, good flashes. But the fact of the matter is, Tony Pollard comes in, and he's giving you fantastic efficiency as a running back. And Zeke should be giving you at least some of that, if not all of it. So, for me, I think that the Cowboys seriously need to consider moving on from Ezekiel Elliott if this starts a trend. If he's at a point where he can't go on any further in terms of being a good or elite back. Now, I'm not willing to throw the towel in on Zeke just yet. I don't want you to get twisted by what I'm saying here. I do believe that Ezekiel Elliott, once again, is a talented running back. I think that ultimately he just needs a better he needs a better offensive line to run behind, but more importantly, he really needs to reevaluate how he goes about his, I guess you could say stature as a running back. I mean, sure, he's bulked up to take a ton of the punishment to be a, bell cow running back, but ultimately that cost him speed, and there will be moments where he has a burst. I'm not trying to say Ezekiel Elliott is completely slow and all this other crap. The thing I'm trying to get at is that we need to be fully cautious going forward regarding Ezekiel Elliott. Because if you're going to pay that guy $15 million, he should be getting you at minimum 1,000 yards a season. And at minimum 10 touchdowns. Now, I will also be very clear that even if he doesn't get 10 plus touchdowns, and that includes like receiving too, even if he doesn't get 10 touchdowns every single season, I need him to be a dynamic force on this offense. And, I think that he still can be. But we need to be careful going forward. I don't want to repeat myself or go any further with this topic because I think it's self-explanatory. The Cowboys need to seriously start evaluating Ezekiel Elliott and whether or not he's worth the money. And I think that starts this year. So, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, by all means leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe if you're new here. By all means, make sure to hit the notification bell as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, have a great one. Bye-bye.